So, hey Nicola, how's it going today?
Hey, I'm good, and you?
I'm
It's
good.
snowing in Massachusetts.
Is it right now?
Yeah,
Okay. They got snow like
no,
3 hours south of here too, but we didn't get any snow. Are you getting a
not
lot?
really.
A ton of it?
Yep, a lot. Yeah, I went out earlier, then it was coming on really hard.
All right. Well, I'll need to
So
check the
it's going to
Boston
be for
weather.
the whole night.
We've
Yeah.
been doing all this stuff together, tons of acts of kindness. And I feel like whenever I'm talking to you, there's always some other act of kindness that you're doing besides. It's your gig somehow. And so I thought that I might get your perspective on what drives you in these things. How are all of these things that you do such a easy yes for you?
Well, it started back in the pandemic. Earlier on in the pandemic, I I remember started reading the Bible, and I started doing this thing where I go to the back of the Bible and pick words. And I remember the word charity came up, and in 1 Corinthians 13, verse 13, it talk about the abiding of faith, hope, and charity. And then it said the greatest of all is charity. And I remember sitting in my room, I was like, wow, what am I doing for my community? Like I remember when he was in town in Massachusetts, I would come to church, I would set up the coffee, I would do like the projection, but I would sit in my room and I was like, I need to start doing more. And the Sunday you did the service on my later would be greater
Uh-huh.
than my past. And that service really was the service for me. I started doing morning walks, and on my morning walks, I will start telling God, like, here I am, God, like, use me however you want to use me. And I remember walking one morning and they said, how about you start picking up the trash around your community? And I'm like, really? That's it? And, like things start coming to mind what to get. And I would like order the trash bags, the grabber picker. And, I was doing that. And I remember walking one day and saying like, oh, I need something to make this a bit lighter for me, like easier to carry. And I came home the night and there was a cart right up my doorstep. And I was like, wow, God, thank you. I kept praying like, okay, I want to do more. I want to help people. So I started researching charities and stuff. I started donating to a couple. And then right away, I was getting everything coming in. You sent the shoes drive email, and I was like, oh my God, yes. And then I remember Interfaith sent me the backpack. They was doing a backpack thing for back to school kids. I was volunteering for that. Um, then the food drive came along. So it's like all those things was coming. So I just didn't know to say no because I felt like those are things I was asking God to
Mm.
provide for me, and He was providing it. So that's what drives me to always want to do more, especially since it talk about in the Bible, charity. You got to help and give and love your neighbors.
It sounds like you feel specifically called, right? Either it's this verse in the Bible, this stuff shows up at your door, which is really poignant and remarkable.
Yes.
And that's happening a lot to
Yeah.
you. That's just-
Yeah, a lot. Oh my God. I went to CVS one day to pick up some meds, and the guy in front of me, his bill was higher than he expected, and something was like, pay for it. I'm like, what? And then I said, you know what, I got you. He said, how can I pay you back? I said, Joe, don't worry about paying me back. Just, help somebody if you ever see someone in need. And he's like, oh my God, thank you so much. And I'm like, I think God had me in this spot right now for a reason. And, I was really, I don't do things expecting things. I do it just because, put a smile on someone else's face and, at the same time, putting a smile on God's face because He loves to see when you help your neighbors and
Yeah,
give
yeah.
a helping hand.
Right, which ties in a lot to the stuff that we're talking about in this sermon series, right? So we're talking about secrets of a joy-filled life. And the whole idea
Mhm.
is this notion of when we are doing this, we're sharing our light, we're going out and doing the stuff that we feel that prompting towards it. It's doing good in the world, it's doing good in us. There's joy for everyone involved. And so, how do you experience that? How does that joy work for you?
Well, the joy for me, it's like I said, it's always good to put a smile on other people's face, like, help. And even at the time when you given and God told you to give certain things, like he told the rich guy to give it all. I remember with the shoes drive, I had like I love Clark's. It's a type of shoes, and I remember giving the shoes, and I'm picking out all the shoes that I feel like I should be given. And he said, "How about that new pair of Clark's over there?" And I'm like, "What? Like no." And I packed it in the box. I ended up packing it. I was like, "Okay, I guess." And in the end, I did feel like, wow, because I can replace that pair of shoes,
Hmm.
So,
Right.
but
And in terms of joy, even though that was like a favorite pair of shoes, did the joy spark? Did you end up feeling like, oh, I'm
yes.
glad I did this? How did that work?
Yeah, I did. I was glad I gave it away, and like I said, I could replace it, and probably that's what somebody now will discover. Like, okay, if I buy a pair of clocks for my daughter or my son, now they can have it for the whole school year instead of buying. And also, like, it's really good. It brings a little joy inside of me because I grew up with my grandmother who, when I was a child, most of my things was from the market, like shoes, clothes. So when I was doing that, I was like, wow, I never thought about like this is what people do. They do they donate things to these ladies and they come to the market and sell it. So seeing like doing that really like bring joys and like, was like, oh, I wish my grandmother was there to see that I'm giving back into what she was supporting.
Yes.
So
Ah.
yeah.
And so there's two sides to this story, right? So we have our warm fuzzies. We have the joy that we experience, the joy that others are feeling. On the other side of it, right? You've been gangbusters for a long time. You've just been going, 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 going. It's easy to feel tired sometimes, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed. And I mean, I was just talking to a friend recently who's asking for prayer for a lot of stuff. And she was like, it's not that I want to give any of it up. I really like everything that I'm doing. I just need the capacity to do it all. So, how does that work for you? Do you feel like you get tired and overwhelmed? How do you deal with it?
Oh yeah, I get tired of like because at the time with the shoes drive, there was Bible study. There was a class I was doing with Pastor Christina Roberts and you. So there was. I remember sleeping a couple Monday, like woke up like, oh my God, I missed the class. And I remember telling you like, oh, I collect all my shoes. I'm gonna bring them in tomorrow. I forgot all about the small thing to go print out the label at the library, to count the shoes, to rubber band the shoes. Like I remember seeing the boxes like at my door for like 3 days straight. And I'm like, oh, I need to drop these off. Like, like I did feel overwhelmed a little and tired because I had work at the same time. But each time I feel overwhelmed and tired, I always ask God, like I pray for like, God, give me the strength and the energy to keep going. Like, you would not give me all of this if I didn't deserve it. So like, if it wasn't something for me to be doing, like you wouldn't give me more than I can handle, basically. So I always pray and I'm learning during that time. I also learned that it's okay to rest. You don't have to do it all right away. It's okay to rest. It's okay to take a break, and it's okay to take a nap if you need a nap. Yeah, I love naps. So, yeah.
And your 3 days is way better than my like 4 weeks. My shoes sat there a lot longer. Um, and I feel like administrative stuff, in general, I'm okay with administrative stuff, but life circumstances being what they were. And it did work out because somebody brought over two more pairs of shoes. So the fact that
Oh,
I was
wow.
delayed, it did work out in the end.
Yeah. So everything happens for a reason.
That's right.
I know, because I remember saying to myself, man, even if these are over 50 pounds, I'll pay the money long as these go. But there also a part that was overwhelming a little too was like, the enemy's telling you like, oh, some of those shoes might get sent back. But when I got the letter in the mail saying, thank you for your donation, I was like, wow. Then, I felt the joy and like the light, like, you know.
Any other tips around what you do when you're feeling overwhelmed? I think we've got naps, and it's okay to take a break. Anything else
Um,
that you do?
I do a lot of prayer time. Like now I'm at the point where I do not leave my house without opening my Bible and praying because if I leave the house without I read my day is it's downhill. Like I can't go through my day without reading the Bible. And once you start reading the Bible, there's a lot that you'll learn about yourself. You like there's forgiveness. Like I remember even like reaching out to people that I know I was not wrong, but you apologize even when you're not wrong. Like, it's like you want to become a better person. So
I
I
love it.
encourage people to spend time with God and read the Bible.
Right, right. It's very rejuvenating to get in the presence of God, and because then you have connection going two ways, right? The connection is going
Mhm.
out into the world, but the connection is being restored over and over again.
Yeah.
Yes, the sense of I feel like God told me to do something, and it's bringing this restorative joy, and it kind of
Yeah.
has ripple effects. It's true.
Hmm.
This is all very helpful. Thank you so much for being with me today, Nicola.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.